Hello everyone. Thanks for joining iLLYPH webinar 4. Today we are focusing on vendor cybersecurity audits and how they help protect our business. We will discuss how to quickly verify that our partners protect our data as well as we do, and how to make vendor reviews simple, practical, and repeatable. Why are we doing this, you might ask? Because attackers often target businesses through their suppliers. A vendor may be smaller, it may be less protected, or it could be connected to multiple customers, which makes them an attractive entry point. If a vendor gets hacked, our data, our systems, our customers, and our operations may be at risk too. Auditing vendors is not about creating paperwork. It is about making sure that the partners we rely on are not exposing clients to unnecessary cyber risk. We do not need a complex system to begin. Our vendor audit framework relies on 3 simple steps. The first step, assess their setup. The second step, verify their actual controls. And the third step is to fix any major gaps we find. So firstly, we have to ask the right questions to understand the systems that they use and what data they access. Secondly, we look for the evidence that controls are really in place and they're not just promised. Thirdly, we prioritize the biggest risks and agree on clear actions, owners, and deadlines. So the first key check that we're going to look at is access controls. So passwords alone, just passwords in general, they are no longer enough as a security measure, especially for vendors that connect to our systems or handle our information and data. We need to confirm whether the vendors use MFA, which is multi-factor authentication, for accounts that touch the network, applications, cloud services, or even business data. We also have to check whether the access is limited to only what is needed, whether the shared accounts are avoided, and whether the access is removed quickly when a staff member leaves or has a role change, a role promotion, or a secondment as well. The second key check is data security and encryption, which revolves around data protection. So we need to know what information the vendor receives, where that information is stored, who can access it, and how long the information is kept. Sensitive data and confidential information has to be encrypted while it's stored and while the information is being sent. We also want to understand whether the vendor separates the data from other customers, whether they have secure deletion practices, and whether they can prove that data is protected across its full life cycle. And the third key check is incident response and backups. We are going to look at resilience. So if a vendor is hit by ransomware, for example, it suffers a data breach or it loses access to critical systems, we need to know that they can recover quickly. This means that they should have clean, tested backups and a documented incident response process. Just as importantly, they must notify us immediately if an incident could affect our data, our services, or our customers. And fast communication gives us time to contain risk and make informed decisions. The fourth key check is employee awareness, which is human risk. Staff are often the first line of defense, and human error is a major cause of breaches. We want to ensure that vendor staff receive regular cybersecurity awareness training, including phishing, password hygiene, data handling, and incident reporting. A vendor can have strong tools in place, but if the employees do not understand the risks, those tools can still fail regardless. Security awareness helps turn people into part of the defense. Now, here is our execution plan. So, firstly, we will list our key vendors and identify which ones handle the sensitive information, connect to our systems, or support critical operations. Then we will send them a short questionnaire to score their risk. After that, we will review their answers, request evidence when needed, and prioritize follow-up actions. The goal here, however, is not to audit every vendor with the same level of detail, but it is to focus our effort where the business impact is highest. Now, some vendors will have gaps, and that is completely okay. That is completely okay. But the purpose of the audit is to find the risks early and work together to reduce that risk. We will focus on our most critical suppliers first and give the vendors clear deadlines to fix important issues. So, for example, if a vendor does not use multi-factor authentication, MFA, we may require them to enable MFA before they can continue accessing the data. But if a risk cannot be fixed quickly, we have to agree on temporary controls, document the decision, and monitor the progress. Now, to close out today's webinar, please remember that vendor cybersecurity is about protecting our business before a supplier issue becomes our issue. From there, we will prepare the questionnaire, collect responses, and track any remediation actions. Your call to action is simple. Review the vendors you work with, identify any that handle sensitive data or support critical services, and flag them for the vendor audit process. Thank you for attending iLLYPH Security Webinar 4. Stay informed, stay secure. Thank you.